to boot between the top two from last year. It was Melbourne City that emerged victorious champions at Amy Park on Wurundjeri land, where these two meet again for the second time this season. City, undefeated in the last 4 Melbourne derbies, have won the last 2. 1-0 in the grand final at the end of last season, and then 2-0 already earlier this campaign, courtesy of their youngsters, Max Caputo and Peter Antoniou. Melbourne Victory, they got their first win in ages last weekend. It wasn't enough to lift them off the bottom of the table. They will be desperate to not only move clear of the bottom rung of the ladder, but also ensure that Melbourne City do not make it 3 derby wins in a row. It's only ever happened twice before, once each for Melbourne Victory back in 2015, for Melbourne City in 2020-21. So plenty at stake. They say form goes out the window for the derbies, but we'll have a look at the form all the same. City, after a week off from the A-League, their last outing was a 1-0 win over Newcastle. They followed that up with a trip to Seoul in Korea and came back from their Champions League match with a 1-1 draw against FC Seoul that holds them in very good stead to emerge from the league phase. Victory finally broke their goal drought in that win over Adelaide. 4 changes from that last A-League lineup, but only 1 change from the side that started in Seoul 10 days ago for Aurelio Vidmar and the home side. Patrick Beach in goal. Kai Truan continues in defence alongside the Argentine Herman Pereira. Emin Jurakovic gets his first ever A-League start in the middle of the park. And up front, Elbasan Rashani, the former Kosovo international, is finally back from injury. He lines up alongside Takesh Kanamori and City's top scorer, Max Caputo. For the visitors, also playing at their regular home ground of Amy Park, Arthur Dillis resisted the urge to change. He's gone with the same starting 11 that started last time out against Adelaide. That means Denny Genro, back from suspension, starts on the bench. There's plenty of quality in attack. Juan Mata pulling the strings behind Santos and Valupale in the wide roles. And Nikos Virgos, who got 2 last week against Adelaide, his first goals of the campaign. Massive contest and plenty of fans already making noise. There is Aurelio Vidmar. He may have won the last 2 against Melbourne Victory. Before that, he'd won only 1 of 17 against Melbourne Victory, whether that was at Adelaide or Melbourne City. So perhaps it's finally turned. It's taken plenty of time for Vidmar to finally be enjoying one over Melbourne Victory. His opposite number, Arthur Dillis, well, he's still waiting to find out what it tastes like, because Victory's win at the start of last season was under Patrick Kisnorbo before Arthur Dillis took over. So he is none from 3 so far. Ali Reza Fagani is our referee this evening. He's being assisted by Kearney Robinson and Andrew Mamarakis. Jonathan Barrero is the 4th official. And in the VAR room, Kate Yacevic and Brad Wright. There is Juan Mata, outstanding against Adelaide last week, where he provided the assist for Virgos's second just before, or just after, the half-time break. It was a crucial win for Melbourne Victory and has really set up this Christmas derby perfectly. Now, before kick-off at Amy Park, we're going to head down pitch side and have a moment's silence for the victims of last weekend's Bondi terror attack.
All of Australia mourns the devastating attack and the resulting loss of innocent lives at Bondi Beach on Sunday. As a mark of respect, we now ask if you are able to please rise for a moment of silence as we offer our heartfelt sympathies to the victims, their loved ones, and the communities impacted. Thank you.
The unifying force of football on view here at Amy Park after those terrible scenes of division in Australia last week. Max Caputo is just 20 years of age. He makes his 50th appearance for Melbourne City. 4 goals in the A-League so far this season alone. You can add 2 more in the Asian Champions League to that tally. It's already the most prolific campaign of his young career. At the other side, the man looking to stop him, a former Melbourne City Youth Academy player, Sebastian Esposito, currently on loan from Italian side Lecce, who didn't want to sell him. They want him back at the end of the season. He's here to gain experience. The captain of the Australian under-20s has cemented his place in the side ahead of the more experienced Lockie Jackson. Amy Park is quite the picture this summer day in Melbourne. Perfect conditions for the Christmas derby. City versus Victory, 2 sides with perennial designs on Australian football's top prize. Last season it was City that claimed the bragging rights, the A-League Championship triumph. The Melbourne derby is a chance to measure both sides' credentials for this year's title. Andy Harper, it's always a big one.
It sure is, Robbie. In advance, happy Christmas to you and to the viewers who've tuned in to the traditional Christmas derby in Melbourne. What a spectacular evening. Good numbers, full of voice, beautiful playing surface, crisp weather, and 2 teams primed for it. We can say that a weekend after Victory dragged themselves off the canvas with that great win against Adelaide last week. This one's set. Pre-match we spoke with Nishan Velupillay, the Victory star, and he gave us the first key performance indicator for Melbourne Victory, how well they start. They've identified slow starts has been a problem for them against Melbourne City. Let's see if they can fix it tonight.
Kuhn releasing Rashani. Referee says play on. Elbasan Rashani taking on Rawlins, still going. He's a powerful, experienced winger, Rashani, who's had a stuttering start to life in Australia, but Aurelia Vidmar expects big things of the City number 11. Here's Andreas Kuhn. We've already seen the big things from him. Lovely turn inside Dorigo. The Austrian inside and out. Just couldn't squeeze it through for Rashani. Already the first battle lines of the evening have been drawn. Dorigo keeping a very close watch on Andreas Kuhn. Mata, who is often the trigger for Melbourne Victory's press, or was certainly last week. Rashani getting the better of Rawlins. It's a nice turn. Looks up, crosses. Esposito manages the block. Santos forward, and Kai Truen, who we often see in the centre of the park in midfield. Zane Schreiber and Emin Jurakovic are the 2 youngsters holding down the fort in midfield for City as Kai Truen drops back to cover the injured Samuel Suprayon.
Well, it's a great return from Max Caputo. We haven't really come to appreciate the subtleties in Caputo's game. A bullocking type striker with a good finish on the end of things. That showed a nice little bit of nuance there. The young Melbourne City centre forward, judiciously caught, shall we say, by Roddy Miranda.
6 weeks ago, he'd already opened the scoring against Melbourne Victory after just 90 seconds. Nathaniel Atkinson, he's back in the starting 11 as well, standing over this free kick with Aziz Bajic. Here's Bajic, the head down from Truen. And then Kuhn's little back heel. Now Aziz Bajic. With Zane Schreiber. Melbourne Victory repel the first City offensive. Jurakovic, whose dad was coach of Melbourne Victory, a fantastic Socceroo. Mehmet Jurakovic, champion in the old NSL days with South Melbourne. Truant over the top for Atkinson, who's got there, bundles the ball over the touchline under pressure from Davidson.
Well, as you alluded, Robbie, Victory were already down this time in Derby 1 of the season, so they've safely navigated that first pothole. Nevertheless, the opening 4.5 minutes, it's been Melbourne City who've been able to get their foot on the ball and dictate play. Victory yet really to be able to relax in possession. Let's see if this restart from Jack Duncan could also restart the Victory approach with the ball, if they can win this one and play off the second piece.
There's Davidson that won the initial header over Ferreira, who's out of position. Plenty of City blue shirts back though. As his Bajic gives it away cheaply, intercepted by Valupale. The Socceroo teammate went for the early cross. This is Bajic, an absolute terrier. Nishan Valupale will know all about that from Socceroo training. Roderick Miranda gives it away.
Yeah, that was a rather soft start from Nish Valupale. Victory had won the ball first time in the match, early stages of course. He opted not to take Aziz Bajic on in the first instance, and his attempted cross was easily blocked out. He had a second opportunity and then a third, and Bajic beat him twice, purely with tenacity.
Ferreira towards Takesh Kanamori, who scored an early favourite for goal of the season for City against Adelaide. Rashani's done well with Kuhn. Those two already combining. Little ball back for Rashani, and the follow-up for Caputo. Well, if Rashani didn't score, Caputo probably should have. In the end, the flag up for offside.
Well, just not swift enough across the ground. Melbourne Victory, the give and go, beautiful from Rashani. Firstly, that was a lovely little bit of play, but look how open Victory have become on the left-hand side. Play is called back for offside. Caputo drifting and nabbed. If it had gone in, that probably would have been rubbed out. A warning sign there early for Victory. Just a little subpar at the moment to start the nominal visitors here in the Christmas Derby 2025.
Historically, it is Victory that have the upper hand, but only just. 17 wins to 16 and 16 draws for the nominal Melbourne City home games. 9 wins for City, 8 wins for Melbourne Victory, and 7 draws. Of course, Melbourne Victory did play for a while their home matches against Melbourne City, or Melbourne Heart, even at the start at Marvel Stadium. So there are also statistics for the number of times they've met at Amy Park. Again, it's 1 to the good for Melbourne Victory. So City will be looking to square the ledger in Melbourne Derby number 50. Santos has hesitated on the ball. It's in behind for Caputo. Very nicely done again from Roderick Miranda. Schreiber with Kanamori. Ferreira to Patrick Beach. Very comfortable with the ball at his feet, the Melbourne City goalkeeper of just 22 years of age. Again, happy to play out from the back. Exchanging 1-2s with Kai Truant until the space opens up on the opposite side for Ferreira. Ferreira with Schreiber, Kanamori. Rashani again. Rashani, Swedish-born, raised in Norway. Norway under 21 international before switching his allegiances to the country of his heritage, Kosovo. Very experienced footballer. Quite on the same level as a Juan Mata, perhaps. Who may have an influence here as Victory look to break forward for the first time. They've got numbers forward as well. Mata with the overlapping run. He's got it here. Juan Mata across the face of goal towards Burgos. He'll be out for a corner, and that was a good chance.
Great chance. Nathaniel Atkinson, Melbourne City, coming back from halfway, back to his feet, was beaten in the exchange. There he is in the top of screen, a little wounded. Santos set this up nicely. Really nice realignment there as he cut the ball inside and then fed the space for Mata. And as Mata delivers the ball into the goal-scoring zone, who else but Kai Truan there to snuff out Burgos. Good opportunity for Victory.
The referee wants to have a word to the players doing all the holding on. Miranda and Ferreira, two wily old dogs on the penalty spot. The referee doesn't want anything untoward in there. Jordi Valadon's been across in the meantime to have a word to Arthur Dillis. There's Louis Dorigo, prepares to take this, and now it's Nathaniel Atkinson getting a little personal, talking to from Ali Reza Fagani. Well, he doesn't like the talk, Ali Reza Fagani.
He's not long on patience. We know that. The players should know it by now.
The crowd getting impatient as well. Dorigo's ball in, makes it all the way to the back post, played back in finally. City, who were not only hesitant but just standing around watching that ball bounce around in their penalty box.
To the extent that was a planned move, and there was a lot of players from Victory who looked like they were running to or holding preordained patterns and positions. That was a nice corner variation, and whilst Melbourne City were non-responsive, relatively, Robbie, you're right, you can't say that having laid that platform, Victory looked particularly alert themselves. Now that was another good chance for them.
And now it's another one for Rashani to chase. Pins back the ears and takes on Rawlins. Now the cross took a deflection on the way through off the former Perth defender, played by Duncan. Well, Rashani was one of those players that injured his hamstring early on in the season in Asia. As here's Santos skinning Atkinson. Santos with Burgos. Still Burgos. Saved by Beach. Burgos to the back post. Nishan Balupale won't get there, and Beach survives. And so to Melbourne City.
Wow. Santos was doing an incredible impersonation of a gazelle in full flight down that flank. What a beautiful sight athletically that was. Another good chance for Victory.
The Brazilian, just 24 years of age. He is an exciting talent. I mean, perhaps just lacking the consistency. We saw it in fits and spurts last season. A couple of goals in back-to-back matches. A rich vein of form here and there, but not the week in, week out that can elevate you to being one of the real stars of the game. Not yet, anyway. Shani leaping again with Rawlins. Esposito across in cover. Balupale's done well. Dorigo with Mata. Valadon. City win it straight back.
There's been a pretty high turnover rate. Melbourne City have enjoyed the bulk of the action so far. The last series of chances, and good ones, have all been for Melbourne Victory.
Andreas Kuhn again picking out the pass. Shriver's attempted ball for Atkinson, who's double teamed and comes off second best again. Davidson with Mata. Here's Valadon. Burgos in the middle. Davidson and Mata arriving. Valadon still. Chips it back post towards Burgos. Oh, goodness. That was another really good chance.
Well, I'm going to wind this one back to Jason Davidson. He had a couple of passing options, but he deferred to the great man, Juan Mata, who'd already taken the snapshot of what was on offer. That's the end of it. A beautiful pass through. Now, Jordi Valadon hesitates nicely. Do I play Jason Davidson to get him behind, or do I pick out the striker? It was an unkind angle, in fairness to Burgos. Still, he needs to at least hit the target. It wasn't a 100% kind angle, the delivery. But it's victory again. The chances racking up.
Look at that statistic. It's Melbourne City with the ball. It's Melbourne victory with the shots at goal.
Fresh off his brace last week, Burgos has had two very good sights. That was the second of them then. Last attack, he forced that save from Beach.
And now City, because this game is not a very patient one either at the moment. Both sides looking to land that first blow. Really good attacking attitude and approach from both teams so far. City with the ball. Melbourne victory looking to hit on the counter-attack. Bajic. Caputo, good use of the body. Max Caputo now. And Seb Esposito. Did he have eyes for the ball or just the man? Those two teammates at under 20 level. Caputo had to bide his time at the World Cup in Chile before getting a couple of goals in the final match against Cuba. Atkinson. That's a good ball from Dorigo for Velupile. Nishan Velupile picks out Santos. Mata. Danger again for City. Davidson. His cross. Deflected behind now. Louis Dorigo is asking the question, is there a handball in there?
Well, was this a foul on Caputo? There's a fair bit of manhandling going on there. I tell you, he's a hard one to handle. Is Max Caputo. I don't know if he's done anything wrong there. I can see plenty of contestable evidence against Esposito there.
And now, is that Jason Davidson, or he wants to go on with it? And Alireza Fagani. He doesn't often take kindly to back chat. He doesn't matter if you've already got a yellow either. In it comes. Just too high for Burgos. And then Santos blazing away. Well, 17 minutes gone. The fact that we've had the restart from the corner means that VAR have decided that it wasn't worth getting Alireza Fagani to have a look at that altercation, shall we say, between Esposito and Caputo.
Well, that does set the bar, the threshold, in favour of the defenders.
Ferreira gets it back from Atkinson. The Argentine defender's done well. It's broken for Jurakovic. Here's Kuhn. Andreas Kuhn. Rashani, nice touch. Square ball. Caputo couldn't get enough purchase on the ball to send it goalward. Well, the Melbourne derby, 18 minutes gone, is living up to the billing. Thrilling action at both ends of the pitch. Both sets of supporters making plenty of noise behind the goals as well. Here in good numbers, all the colour and passion of derby football. Great run from Kuhn. Oh, as he tried to whip it across to Caputo, he apologises.
Kuhn, he got that space with that left foot, and he put a bit on that pass too, but the ball speed was excellent. Rashani's first touch needed to be silky, which it was. And there was a nervous moment then for Melbourne Victory. Plenty of goal action, both ends of the field. Keenly contested. If there's a slight difference at the moment in general play, it's the intensity of the Melbourne City pressuring compared to various parts for Melbourne Victory. Don't close the defenders. They let the defenders pass out of that zone without the intensity that's offered them at the other end of the field.
Oh, clever from Rashani. Back for Kuhn. City coming forward again. And it's Esposito that just launches the ball forward, but back we come. Kai Truan with a good ball for Rashani. Early cross this time. And Jason Davidson did ever so well. The clearance just gives it straight back to Melbourne City. Was there a foul there by Mata? Not enough to have brought down the hulking Herman Ferreira. Let's head down to Michael Zappone, who's on the sidelines for us. Zappers.
Yeah, and those two going at it, Esposito and Caputo, they have been playing football here in Melbourne together for a long, long time. They know each other very well. They may have even been spotted by my spies at the golf driving range a couple of weeks ago together, Robbie. But what about Juan Mata and his influence so far? As we can see a couple of players down, we'll just see how they're going in a moment. But Juan Mata, we spoke about in the lead up to this game, just how impressive he was last week in starting that revival for Melbourne Victory against Adelaide United. Speaking to the Victory coaching staff earlier today, they were saying his top speeds, his kilometres covered, his pressing numbers were outstanding and continue to surprise everyone at the club. 37 years of age, but he has still got plenty left in him. So Melbourne City will need to be aware of his danger tonight. We've seen just how dangerous he can be in the early stages of this game.
Thank you, Zappers. We've already had Golfgate in the Sydney derby a couple of seasons ago. We don't need to start any unfounded rumours.
That was a few weeks ago.
Your sources are.
Well, I think we should get Zappers to come clean, because when he refers to quote-unquote my spies, I reckon that's him at the golf range himself.
Nishan Velupillay has picked himself up. Midway through the first half, scoreless, but not for a want of trying. It's been a pulsating first chapter of this 50th Melbourne derby, the Christmas derby 2025. It's been physical, it's been intense, and it's been entertaining. Well, that wasn't intended for Zane Schreiber. Daniel Atkinson letting him know it as well. Now Davidson with Mata, gets it straight back. Here's Louis Dorigo. Really set the tone against Adelaide a week ago. Rawlins ball for Velupillay, can't quite get there. Kai Truan, so comfortable, ball at feet, made a fantastic international debut for the Socceroos against Venezuela and Colombia. Venezuela, his debut alongside his goalkeeping teammate Patrick Beach. Ferreira back again. Jurakovic, who's done that well. Emin Jurakovic, fantastic ball for Rashani. Returns inside, Kuhn. Jurakovic again. As is Beige now. City again with over 70% possession at the moment. It's their fans, you can hear, that are enjoying the show and making the noise at the moment. Victory at the northern end of the ground, looking to reply. Is there a free kick there? There is. Dorigo through the back of Andreas Kuhn. Fantastic atmosphere. It is the hot ticket in town. The City prepare this free kick, and we'll get a couple of shots for you in a moment, but there are some pretty famous faces in attendance this evening. As is Beige and Atkinson. Atkinson's ball. Header away. Davidson claims he was fouled. He can't afford to say too much at the moment, though, because he's already drawn the ire once of the referee, as that's out of play. Jason Davidson pumped up. There is the great man, Ange Postecoglou, a champion with Brisbane Roar, amongst others. Andy Harper.
Yeah, well, he was sitting next to former chairman Anthony Di Pietro, former chairman of Football Australia, Chris Nicker, and of course now Australian sporting royalty, who has the magnetism and the gravitas nowadays because of his achievements, Ange, to walk up the street and have people empty bars and cafes as he walks by to run out and get photos with him. He's done an amazing job in hiatus at the moment. Oh, look who else is here. Bessar Barisha, Kevin Muscat.
Muscat, who's blazing his own trail, isn't he, as well? There's Joe Montemuro. So it's a who's who of Australian football. The Matildas coach watching on as well. Kevin Muscat, who just won the Chinese Super League again. That's a great turn from Kai Truan. And Valupale illegally pulling him back. Not to be forgotten, Aurelio Vidmar, another Socceroos legend, but he's can't be quite as relaxed as the others. Watching from the crowd, he's got a very important job to do here. Ferreira, Santos looking to close him down, but not quickly enough to cut out the passing options. Caputo's done well. And Schreiber with the big up and under just to get the ball clear. Caputo again, that's a clever header for Kanamori. We haven't seen too much of the Japanese winger so far. Here he comes, square ball for Rashani, was perfect. Rashani's touch was not. Kuhn. Now for Beige. His cross, blocked by Rawlins, and it's another corner as the ball flows from one end to the other again.
Max Caputo, the second phase of that contribution, nodding the ball on to Kanamori. Touch from Rashani here. Jeez, been open for business then. Melbourne City with a better effort.
Kanamori will have the chance to continue that attack here with the corner. The Japanese winger, a Champions League winner, goes to the back post. It's a good ball as well. I think it was Max Caputo who was left on the ground, but it was Andreas Kuhn who jumped just in front of him, may have put him off.
Well, Melbourne Victory taking the goal kick. Just have a look at this. Max Caputo winning from a second place position. Now, just encourage people at home watching this to look at how much he makes a contest of ball going forward compared to Nikos Virgos. It's not a direct comparison because the passages of play can be different. People can make their own mind up. But Max Caputo is making a contest of everything. Not 100% sure every time you can say the same about Virgos. It's a big difference. Both players have got a similar job to do.
Trying to test Patrick Beach from distance. Bajic, now Caputo. He looked to be offside, Max Caputo, as it's come off the crossbar, and now the flag does go up. Good save in the end from Jack Duncan as well.
Well, I'm not sure if that's gone in. If that's the action the assistant thought was offside, I'm not 100% sure. Good feet from Caputo. And all things considered, an excellent save from Jack Duncan. He also gets ripped off a save stat. That's excellent from Duncan, really excellent. He had to throw that left hand out. It wasn't just a block. He had to react.
Well, that was certainly didn't look offside from what the angle we saw. Of course, those angles can be a little bit deceptive.
Yeah, that's true. But if we were correctly judging that, then Melbourne City have been shortchanged a corner as well.
Cohen for Jurakovic. It's a good run from the youngster. Closed down quickly. Sandwiched by Valadon and Rawlins. And now Mata. Well, Nathaniel Atkinson had to make that, but look out, here comes Davidson now. Strong from Ferreira. Oh, Bajic almost turned himself. And he goes down under the challenge. He invited the nibble from Nishan Velupillay.
One of those ones where it's almost worth it if you finish on Velupillay. I think their frontline press has just been a little off. Anything you can do to turn the temperature up on those City defenders as they look to try and play out is worth it. If you can just start clawing that back from a Melbourne Victory viewpoint.
Who's playing very high up the pitch on that right-hand side. Ooh, Zane Schreiber coming in a little late on Valadon, who's brushed aside by Ferreira. Now Cohen. Melbourne City upping the ante, getting physical. Cohen still. Might yet break. Perhaps just overcooking that one, Andreas Cohen. Was looking for Rashani. Zane Schreiber's putting himself out a little bit in the middle of the park. Not the better of Virgos that time. As here's Cohen. Turns inside, accelerates past Dorigo. Little ball. The shot from Rashani. The follow-up, Caputo just wide. And they're getting closer, City.
Well, they're making inroads on the near touchline repeatedly. And, of course, Cohen provides a fantastic advantage for Melbourne City. But Dorigo's starting point, he was a little behind, then he couldn't turn and chase. And then really everyone apart from Jack Duncan and that left-hander his were not quite there for victory. Been busy tonight. Jack Duncan has done his business well. Caputo on the turn, you wouldn't have backed against him.
It's almost becoming Max Caputo's trademark move, that little turn. Back to goal inside the penalty box. Schreiber clears long all the way through to Jack Duncan again. Unable to keep a fourth clean sheet against Adelaide. Melbourne Victory last time out. Duncan just the 3 so far, but they're not a side that concede a lot of goals. There's Rashani getting back to help out. The problem is, for the statistics anyway, the 5 they conceded against Newcastle earlier on in the campaign. City had one of those moments themselves against Adelaide when they conceded 4 of their 5.
Haven't the Jets picked up a couple of scalps this year? When they nobbled Victory, that was before Victory had struggled to get into the season. They got Auckland away 2-1. They've really smashed Sydney today 2-0.
Consistency will be the key to their campaign. Here's Valupale again, closed down by Truant. He's got the corner.
Well, Victory corners have been good so far. It's been a good performance by and large for Victory. Corners have been a big part of that. Let's see if they can convert one.
Got to be getting closer. This is the first one from Juan Mata on this near side. Louis Dorigo's been taking them in swingers with the right boot from the far side. Funnily enough, neither of these two sides have scored from corners as of yet this season. Mata's ball in. The header away by Kai Truant. Santos back in, and Roderick Miranda having a swing at it with the left peg. Valadon. Just too far for Juan Mata, but it wasn't a bad idea at all.
He's been good again tonight. 35 very productive minutes. One of the best things about Victory, and this is an evidence of that. Okay, the execution wasn't great, but they're all very comfortable, and why wouldn't you be making your first option Juan Mata? If he's in space, because you can guarantee he's 3 plays ahead of everyone else. If he's in space, give him the ball, which they've done really effectively. It's been a key part of their attack, which has been pretty good again tonight. They've had some great chances to score, Victory. They've certainly got that right. He's floating again now off the front line, Juan Mata. Just the lanes are blocked to him at the moment.
Esposito looks up. He's bundled over by Kuhn just as he went to make the pass. Now Bajic goes long. Rashad, navy blue. Victory fans here in big numbers. It's on the team sheet at least, a Melbourne City home match. They just need something, those Victory fans, to light the fuse. They've had plenty, but they've also had some scary moments at the other end. Fergos, good nod down that time to find Mata. Davidson, just lacking that little bit of precision.
Yeah, his distribution is good. The distribution has been good tonight up till then, Jason Davidson. And that one didn't miss by much, but it doesn't have to miss by much. And the ball's going at that speed. Santos, no chance. But Victory's left. In fact, the left side of both teams has been the most productive avenue into the final third.
Andreas Kuhn does create that extra man on the left-hand side of the City attacking formation. Ferreira, that's given away a little cheaply. Kanamori wasn't expecting that. Now they've got it back though. Schreiber with Caputo. Schreiber again. Was he fouled by Valadon? No, according to the referee. Has a little word to the ref as he gets back into position. Here's Valadon again. Arthur Dillis does have the Socceroo Denny Jonro back on the bench this evening, which will give him an option for that midfield 3. Already goals and assists for Denny Jonro before that little brain fade from the red card against Brisbane. Bajic. was hoping for the contact from Valupale, who pulled out of it.
Well, Mata still sucking in some big ones after just getting the up there Kazali treatment from Nathaniel Atkinson. Doesn't tickle. That is up and moving and looking to contribute again. There's the foul by Aziz Bajic, which will stop the play for the time being. Jack Duncan to restart. Impressive half again from Juan Mata. He's done his bit.
5.5 minutes to go in the first half. Virgos and Valupale. Looked like the ball almost got caught in the arm of Nishan Valupale. Referee allows play to continue. Victory back in possession. They've had a little bit more of it the last 10 minutes or so. Still had more shots, 6-4 in their favour. They've had more corners, but they've got to be careful here. Kuhn able to turn, a little touch inside. It breaks here. Jurakovic hits it. Not bad from the youngster. Just wide of the mark.
Oh, very clean strike. Skidded across the ground. Kuhn again outfoxing the Victory defence after Kanamori had been too much for Jason Davidson. He does this nicely. Jurakovic making a name for himself at the other end of the pitch from his father. Not without his own famous goals, of course, Mehmet. Blood-bandaged Bonts and all.
Valupale, clever. Mata read the situation perfectly. Back to Valupale. Now Davidson. Santos outside him. Here is the Brazilian. Comes back onto the right. Valupale tracking the ball across the edge of the penalty box. Mata as well. Those two started the move on the right. They are now looking to keep it going on the left. Miranda. City got numbers back. City did well. Rawlins up the line. Rashani didn't think there was much in it. Free kick given all the same.
Well, that's a good contest from Virgos. That makes the difference. Because then Victory are away. They pick up the second ball as he made a nuisance of himself. They've won the free kick on the near touchline. Rashani overstepping the mark.
We spoke a lot about Melbourne City's defence in the pre-game show. Just 5 goals conceded after Brisbane conceded 2 penalties yesterday against MacArthur. It's now the benchmark. 5 goals against in 8 or 9 matches. Mata, back post, clash of heads, and a free kick. It was Atkinson and Davidson. Let's hope there's no blood.
To the back post from Mata. Nice little pitching wedge there. Beautiful trajectory of the ball. And the foul adjudged. Davidson on Atkinson. Got all head, no ball then. Jason Davidson. He's wishing he didn't do it right at this moment as well.
Right on the hairline, it looks like. Jason Davidson.
I wouldn't know what that means. Both sets of players just in the hands of the medical staff. We're going through the concussion protocol.
Fantastic evening for football in Melbourne. Amy Park. A great venue for football in Victoria. And being graced by some great players at the moment. Some are already at the peak of their game. Others have built fantastic careers, and others have have the ambition of building them here at Amy Park. There's one. Patrick Beach, just 22 years of age. So often goalkeepers take a while before reaching their peak. But if you're good enough, you're young enough, or old enough, as the case may be, for Juan Mata as well. Kanamori with Atkinson, the two players that were down receiving treatment have both rejoined. Bajic, Kai Truin, Melbourne Victory have had a good spell. Now at City, looking to finish the half. They'll have another 2 minutes at the end of the 45 to try and create something. Rashani, the cross, trying to measure it for Caputo. Davidson not taking any chances at the back post.
2 minutes additional time. 2 minutes.
Throw taken quickly. Atkinson. Well, he tried to turn. Perhaps he could have tried to cross. Ferreira did just enough against Burgos. Bajic tidied up. Dorigo, who's just been working runs laterally left and right to try and cover. It's a good burst from Jurakovic. Jurakovic still going, blocked by Esposito. Really good pace from him and Jurakovic. Schreiber back to Kuhn. Jurakovic again. Rashani takes over. Jurakovic has stayed down. Not for long. Bajic, Kuhn, a little too casual. Dorigo wasn't waiting for an invitation. As is Bajic, who started his career at Melbourne Victory. Loves the intensity of derby football. Champion of Turkey with Bursaspor. No goals, but plenty of action. A really good first half of football in the 50th Melbourne derby. Both sides with plenty of attacking intent. Jack Duncan making a fantastic save to deny Max Caputo by turning his shot onto the crossbar, which was called offside, but perhaps VAR would have had a differing opinion of that. Melbourne Victory have also had their chances, but at the break it's Melbourne City 0, Melbourne Victory 0. Well, as the players head down the tunnel, let's head off to a quick break. Tara will be back with the boys for the halftime show.
Substances. The A-Leagues, Professional Footballers Australia and Football Coaches Australia are taking a stand against online bullying in Australian football. There is no place for racism, abuse or hate in our sport. Play fair. Flares are illegal at our venues. If you possess or throw a flare, there are severe penalties that apply. Any spectator identified with a prohibited item may be refused entry, evicted from the stadium, potentially banned from attending future matches, and handed over to police for further questioning. A financial fine may also be issued. We are committed to providing a safe and enjoyable environment for all fans and ask you to respect your fellow spectators by refraining from illegal and dangerous activities. It is an event for any spectator to enter the field by without authorization. Any spectator that enters the field by without authorization will be evicted from the stadium, potentially banned from attending future matches, and handed over to the police for further questioning. A financial fine may also be issued. The APL is committed to providing a safe and enjoyable environment for everyone, and we ask you to respect the players and match officials by remaining in the seat involved.
Welcome back to the Hungry Jacks halftime show here at AAMI Park in the Melbourne Derby. It's 0-0. Got a couple of very special guests here in the box. Kevin Muscat, Ange Postecoglou's there still signing autographs. But Kevin Muscat, a legend of Melbourne victory. Firstly, congratulations, Kev, on another championship win in China. Amazing feat. That must have been very difficult and very pleasing at the same time.
Yeah, challenging years, but very rewarding as well. Worked with some very good people as well, so to be able to share that moment with them was very special.
Great to be back here, no doubt. I hear that you and Ange are emptying cafes and bars, and they all come out, want selfies with you. I know that you've been an advocate for the game for so long here in Australia. What does that mean to you to see how you're received here when you come back?
Yeah, it's always this time of year. Obviously, we get to. Well, I particularly get to come back because of the timing of the seasons. So to come to this game, it does mean a lot. It brings back a lot of memories as well, some very special memories. And to see so many people still enjoying the game here, it's enjoyable.
And observations of the game, it's a pretty tight one.
Yeah, not too much happening, to be honest. It's more that teams are maybe trying not to lose rather than trying to win. But as the game goes on, I think that'll release, and then we'll see a little bit more action.
Thanks for joining us.
Cheers up.
All right, Tara, back to you. And Ange is still signing autographs over there.
In the south side goal, here at AAMI Park at the moment, on 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Amy Park for the second half of the Christmas Derby on Network 10 and Paramount Plus. It's been a very entertaining first half, but without any goals so far. Youngsters and veterans alike. This match that started with a moment's silence in memory of the victims of last weekend's terror attack in Bondi. And the referee, Ali Reza Fagani, the stickler for the rules, saying I hadn't blown the whistle, so we can't start just yet. We'll come back and do all of that again. Juan Mata looks for the sideline again, so victory, Andy Harper, looking to put the pressure on immediately.
Yeah, and that free kick, that kickoff, there was no victory player moving up the flank to be a target. The whole idea was give them the throw in, and it's a bit of a statement. Anyway, City worked their way out, didn't get the chance to press. They do now, victory. Santos might be able to put Atkinson under a little bit of pressure.
They managed to take the throw in too quickly before Victory could get the press in place. Here is Davidson, early cross. Oh, and Ferreira concedes the first corner of the second half and a fourth of the evening for Melbourne Victory.
Yeah, that one's come off a leading edge from Jovan Ferreira, which is unlike him. He normally plants and clears very effectively upfield on either side of his body. On that occasion, as he stretched in, the ball found that edge and concedes the corner, from which Victory have not looked unlikely this evening.
Louis Dorigo. In it comes. That was more conventional from Elbasan Rashani, a thumping header at the near post. And Jack Duncan sends Victory deep into attack again. Oh, and I think it was misread by Nathaniel Atkinson, who misjudged it. Perhaps a little touch from
Well, he's on a
Davidson.
yellow card, Jason Davidson, and so he's not going to say anything. But were he not on that yellow card, there would have been a protest. I don't see quite what he did wrong there.
Well, Santos was clean through in behind. We have had Max Caputo hit the crossbar after a great save from Jack Duncan. Caputo's had a couple of half chances, little sightings at goal. He was also appeared to be wrestled to the ground at one moment by Seb Esposito. There you see Caputo again. A young man, he's getting a great education in playing back to goal up front for Melbourne City at the moment. That's his role. As here goes Bajic. It was a really good ball in the end. I think it caught everyone out as Kuhn and Rashani made more or less the same run. Now here's Roderick Miranda. A couple of players. He missed the start of the season with injury, returned for the first derby. Now this time Santos has got him behind. Cries from the Victory faithful, but more out of hope than anything. Now they've got it. Mata, Valupule attacking first touch, it falls to Atkinson and Beach is able to clear. Victory have had so many little opportunities like that without being able to really carve out that clean opportunity at goal. Santos again with Mata. Davidson back to the Spaniard. Miranda now. Roderick Miranda does average a goal a season. As Valupule has been flattened. Now Kuhn. Oh, clever feet. Dancing feet as he looked to release Caputo, but Melbourne Victory are not happy, and Juan Mata is going to talk himself into a booking here.
Well, Victory distressed that Nishan Valupule didn't get awarded a free kick on the edge of the City box a moment ago. So the yellow card has gone not to Juan Mata but to Louis Dorigo. Victory not only complaining about the contact on Valupule, but I think probably suggesting that Andres Kuhn had already moved the ball before he got fouled. Look at this, beautiful footwork. What do you think, Arthur? Tell us what you really think. Interesting that, Robbie, because as referee Fagani reached for his pocket, I, like you, thought Juan Mata's in the frame here. Did he actually take a little moment to think, I'm not going to give Juan Mata a yellow card for that? It was for Louis Dorigo all along. I'm not so convinced.
I think Victory's complaints were that the fouls were quite similar at either end, and yet only one was given.
With the yellow card attached as well, so it's a double bunger from a Victory viewpoint.
Now Bajic and Atkinson again. First free kick of the night was like this. This time the move with Kanamori. Well, either the run wasn't there or the elevation from Kanamori, who apologises to Rashani. I think he was perhaps the intended target. City make their first foray into enemy territory in this second half. In the 6th minute already, Victory have made a lively return from the break. Atkinson deep towards Rashani. Little nod down, but it falls to Valupale. Chance to stretch his legs against Aziz Bayic. Rashani back as well. Victory fans again not happy. Valupale having a word to the referee's assistant on that far side as well. And for Caputo to chase, and Esposito and Caputo, they were at it in the first half, and again giveaway from Mata with Kuhn looking to take on Dorigo. He's done brilliantly, Kuhn, and now Schreiber deflected just wide.
Didn't he do brilliantly, Andres Kuhn? And it's not the first time he's squirmed through a mini gap like that. Victory desperately trying to get it away. Fortunate in the end, that deflection could have gone anywhere. It's beautiful from Kuhn. He twists and turns out of the most unlikely situations.
Takeshi Kanamori with the corner. City on the front foot. City's ball, back post. Oh, Rashani again was the player arriving now. I think there's been another clash of heads here, and both sets of players calling for medical attention.
It's Roddy Miranda, I think, who's down and in a little more than a little distress. There he goes, the skipper. Oof.
It's off the shoulder of Rashani, isn't it?
Well, that's exactly what he's rubbing the shoulder. And he's upright, sitting upright, not on that picture. That's Aurelio Vidmar there. Thankfully, Roddy Miranda is upright. Rashani very graciously going to see if his co-combatant is okay.
There have been some really physical blows in this, and there you can see he's backing away and the head whips back.
Well, at some time in the future, Robbie, that's going to be a foul against Rashani. The way sport's going.
You can't outlaw all accidental contact, can you?
You're just going to have to... It's inevitable that players will have to take greater care. And if it's deemed that he could have withheld from a dangerous situation, then I think the laws will start incorporating that at some point down the track.
You can see the captain's armband there being worn by Roderick Miranda. Both captains this evening, as is Bayic and Miranda, wearing the anti-racism armbands. The deal signed with the anti-racism organisation Reflect Forward, with both clubs working to take the message of no discrimination out to students and young people across Victoria, especially at a time like this. We are more alike than we are different. Caputo again putting himself about. It's often a thankless task till he gets repaid with the goal, Max Caputo. Oh, that's a good ball. Oh, brilliant trip.
Brilliantly done by Mata. I mean, again, the youngsters watching. I mean, this is firstly Caputo. It's taking 2 or 3 to stop him. The guy's a bullock. This is the end of the ball in from Santos. Square across the penalty area. Instinctive from Virgil. So too the save from Beach.
It takes something special to beat Patrick Beach these days. Virgos almost provided it. Mata's ball was not the best. A bit of a floater in the end, which always favours defenders. Valadon, that's a good ball. Valupale will take back over from Davidson. Valupale still against Atkinson. Valupale managed to get the ball in. Mata giving chase. And Bajic hunting down the Spaniard.
And temperature rising here at Amy on this beautiful, beautiful summer evening in Melbourne. The football's living up to the billing.
Davidson again, a little touch with Santos. Shown inside by Schreiber, he accepts. With Velupile, now Esposito. Dorigo. Mata again.
Yeah, he's missed a couple of passes, but it is so worth aspiring footballers just to watch how he's already made up his mind. 3 passes ahead of what's going on. Constantly taking snapshots of the field, who's who and what's what. And just the economy a touch, but it just gets everything going. It's excellent to watch. Great play. Victory really looking as though they're coming to terms with that role and the moving parts around it, doing so way more efficiently. Here he goes again. Look, he's just taken enough touch to open the space, and then Santos did his bit, and Virgos did his bit, and Patrick Beach, as he's been doing, did his bit. Great action at Amy.
It's all in the timing again. Mata inviting Valadon quickly back to his feet, but they've turned it over after the initial loss from Kanamori. The early cross from Atkinson, can't find Caputo. Davidson back again with Mata. Now Miranda with those socks that have had the backs cut out of them to release some of the pressure on the calf muscles. Burgos can't get there quickly enough. It's become quite the trend.
Yeah, well, people, it's not the silverfish in the Melbourne Victory kit room.
Again, the pace of Santos, but he actually got there too quickly in the end. Atkinson gets it back. Kanamori's ball towards Caputo. Very well defended by Esposito. Those young bucks have been going at it all night.
Brilliant. I mean, Caputo, anything, even close, turns into a contest for him. He gets in front, almost gets in front of the defender, but Esposito does well. High fives all round.
Jurakovic's ball, back post again, it's Caputo off the crossbar. Well, what a chance from the youngster. He is a real handful.
Well, he's been terrific, but I think this is one of the best games I've seen him play. Really, given the context, given the opposition, given how tight the game is, and he just bulldozes his way into advantage positions.
Now Victory's right of reply comes immediately, as it has all evening. Davidson. Mata. He brings it back with Miranda. Oh, clever from Velupile, too clever. Even for Juan Mata, perhaps.
Well, I think actually in the end it was Santos, but they all were a little bamboozled. Santos, he's got the time. Oh, it's a beautiful dummy from Ali Reza Fagani as well. How do you get the refs involved in your build-up? Superb decoy play by the central official. Off the streets of Tehran, that one.
Well, he's been around. Ali Reza Fagani, a regular on the world's biggest stage as well. Caputo. Schreiber. He looks to the ref, who just says, keep going. Davidson. Early ball.
So we watched Stevie Corica's Auckland do what they did last night again, another rollout of their platform, and now we're watching Melbourne City. And I think that Auckland and Melbourne City, very, very similar template in one facet of the game, and that's their intensity in the challenge. And interestingly, both Vidmar and Corica, as players who shared dressing rooms at national team level at San Frecce Hiroshima, they're on a raw meat diet for sure.
Now Burgos I thought had a problem with that left hamstring. Instead, the problem was the strapping, which has come off.
Oh, it's just adjusting the duds, ready to go again.
Ferreira up the line, another one for Max Caputo to just try and do his darndest, and it's another lost cause that he's made something of. Jurakovic, good in his first ever start in the A-League. In the middle of the park, here's Burgos, who's managed to get that through. He's been collected by Ferreira. Referee again says it's a derby. There are going to be these contacts. Up the line, Mata for Santos. Ferreira. Whoa. Well, he's picked up a yellow card. That looked really good defending on first viewing from Herman Ferreira.
Well, I think he's just... There's a little hand in the chest. But I thought there was a bigger foul in the first instance there. Well, I thought that was clearly a foul. Ref says no, but maybe the referee just did a quick head count who was involved in both, and I let the first one go, second one no. Gentlemen, free kick and yellow card. Santos causing trouble again with his speed. Brazilian versus Argentinian. A match-up for the ages.
Always a classic. Now Mata and Dorigo. It will be Louis Dorigo near post. Miranda tried to leave it. Valadon. Oh, it's fallen to Burgos. Good save. The follow-up from Santos, and now the flag goes up. We'll have to check it though. Sometimes these crowded penalty box can always throw up a surprise.
Well, low and curling, tough to deal with. Here's Burgos. 3 of them stranded, including the victory number 9. Not a straightforward. Nice finish from Santos otherwise.
Well, he's scored a couple of goals now that have been ruled out this season. Carlos Mario Santos. Just the 3 yellow cards so far in the derby. And Caputo working hard. Wasn't an easy one, the return ball from Canamori. Valupale. Esposito with Miranda. And that tells you how Victory have come back into the game, at least territorially, at least with the ball in the second half. Ironically, if anything, they've probably had fewer clear-cut chances than they did in the first half, when they were playing a more transition game. Atkinson. Dorigo got there first. Schreiber, he does well. Canamori, that's a good ball. Around the corner for Caputo. 2 arriving, Kuhn and Rashani. Here is Elbasan Rashani on the left. Stings the palms of Jack Duncan, who concedes the corner.
That's beautiful play. Well, they were really under some hot pressure there because Victory's press in midfield was really energetic. Firstly, Schreiber pierces through 3. That's the key pass from Canamori. That opens the whole thing. And then nice feet and good patience from Caputo to Rashani, who shoots powerfully but straight at Jack Duncan, who very comfortably beats the ball away at the near post.
3 saves apiece for our 2 goalkeepers this evening. Canamori's ball is not a bad one again, just over everyone.
It was Kai Truan who'd made space. He's filthy with himself as well. Well, this is excellent from Caputo. To me, this has been his best game. I think he's just looked outstanding. Duncan bashes the ball away. Victory don't defend the corner particularly convincingly. And Kai Truan had a really good side at that one.
First change of the evening, and it's Louis Dorigo who's going to make way for Denny Jonro, who served his 2-match ban for stomping in the game against Brisbane in the final seconds. So just having a word to Geordie Valadon, I think he's probably come in as a like-for-like into Dorigo's role. He can also play higher up the pitch, but when you've got Juan Mata in the kind of form he's in, it's not easy to dislodge. Duncan, he's stretched a little bit to bring that one in.
Well, the Victory players are saying it's a little ungentlemanly from the Austro. Thundering into the back of a defender who's heading at pace to his own goalkeeper. The question's being asked of him now, and he's having to defend his position. I don't think he would have been happy with his contribution had a Victory player got into a bad collision.
It's not every opposition. Puto, an outstanding, hard-working 67 minutes. Andrew Naboot, Liam Bonneting and Peter Antonio are all coming on. Antonio, one of the stars of the first derby this season. Caputo, Atkinson and Schreiber, the players making way. So 2 changes at the back for City as Kai Truan steps up into midfield alongside Emin Jurakovic. Some weary legs out there. They've all worked so hard. And Truan immediately into that role as the number 6 at the base of midfield now. Mata with Jonro. And here Davidson calling for Denny. Here's Mata again. Davidson. Nice from Victory. Juan Mata. The cross in. The punch. Only just. Helped on by Santos, and Patrick Beach this time has some clear air.
Well, again, set up beautifully by Juan Mata. I in passing, City, that one while City have their go at attacking now.
With Kai Truan. Antonio. The fresh legs down that right-hand side. Kai Truan's little ball for Kanamori. Cohen, the flick. And Davidson concedes the corner now.
And I think Jack Duncan, who now comes up and says, thanks, Dave, I thought he might have been a little bit more proactive in coming out to clean that up the keeper. But just on Jason Davidson, I know clearly a general message to your team, Robbie, is going to be get Juan Mata the ball. But in my way of thinking, what I've been watching, Jason Davidson, the one who's actually taken the lead. It's at every opportunity, I'm giving the ball to the Spaniard.
In it comes, it's a good ball, the punch. Finally cleared by Valadon. Kanamori. Straight back to Jurakovic again. Little cushion ball, great touch, Santos. That's brilliant as he takes on Ferreira and gets the better of him as well. Liam Bonneting has to be across in cover. Mata still. Santos, well done. Juan Mata, here we go again. The cross in towards Burgos. Geordie Valadon. Andreas Cohen back doing the defending. Burgos, was he dragged down? Santos blazes away. And you're right, we're getting closer.
That was a half chance only, not even for Santos, who got to back his confidence. Burgos down now with cramping trouble. Again, really good play from Victory down the left-hand side. Just lacked a punch in the centre. Look at this interplay. Beautiful touch from Santos. And it's Juan Mata on the delivery end of this one. Still not dead for Victory. They persevered. Burgos couldn't secure possession then, but it still falls out to Santos, whose shot is high and wide.
Jonro looks up and over. Davidson and Kanamori wrestling. It's just It's getting a little ragged as well. There's a little more urgency. I get the feeling it's a moment of class that could make the difference. Valadon picks up a yellow for that foul. A drag back on the dangerous Andreas Kuhn.
Yeah, he'd gotten away again, Kuhn, with monotonous regularity. Valadon thinks, oh, I've sort of got him, but I haven't, and then he would feel he had to pull the shirt down. There was an advantage brewing there for City. And his use of the body, his balance, just excellent. His left foot's not half bad either.
As is Page. Standing over the free kick. Confirmation of that yellow card for Jordi Valadon. Page steps away because Antonio has just been told to come and look for the ball. Now, if I was Melbourne Victor, I'd be looking out for Takeshi Kanamori here. Jurakovic. Plenty of eyes, and the City technical staff trying to position Kanamori for that rebounded shot. The change is coming. It's the end of the road for Nikos Virgos as Jing Rees and Keegan Jelassic prepare to come into the game. Nishan Velupale also making way. Not the goals that they wanted. Let's head down to Michael Zapponi, who's on the sidelines. Zappers.
You would have seen Virgos take off some strapping on his hamstring just a few minutes ago. I did speak to Andrew Durante, the assistant coach, said there was no injury there. The strapping was too tight, but he hasn't played a lot of 90-minute football in recent weeks, so hence the change.
Thank you, Zappers. Ear to the ground on the sideline there. 73 minutes as Nishan Velupale works his way back. Virgos, who came so close with that clever little improvised chip from the edge of the box that drew a good save from Patrick Beach. Now Jurakovic, the youngster, delivers again, back post. We saw Caputo hit the crossbar for the second time in this match from a Jurakovic ball to the back post, but Rashani, who is a regular target, couldn't get on the end of that one. Sets of supporters on the edge of their seats, yet to see which way this one's going to fall. Jelassic, good challenge. Jurakovic on Valadon. Jordi Valadon, one of those victory players who spent a lot of time as a youngster at Melbourne City. Jing Rees helping it on. We saw Virgos break his duck last week. Jing Rees would be a similar story. Hasn't scored for a long time. Not yet in the A-League for Melbourne Victory. Bonatig's header. Jelassic can't keep it in. There's the Hungry Jacks live ladder. As it stands, Melbourne Victory are off the bottom, courtesy of this point. They could find themselves back there. Central Coast Mariners take on Wellington tomorrow at 1 p.m. on the Australian Eastern Seaboard. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff in New Zealand. And at the other end, well, Melbourne City will not be reclaiming third spot at the expense of Brisbane as Rashani is brought to ground by Esposito. That may yet be one of the talking points, that tackle of Esposito, and I say tackle as in the rugby style, in the first half on Max Caputo, who was a real handful, but to his credit, Esposito was outstanding as well this evening in that battle of the two youngsters Valadon's given that away. Well read by Trewin. Well, the same way Melbourne Victory look for Juan Mata, City look for Andreas Kuhn as well in that attacking pocket. Here he is again. Jurakovic. Really, Vidmar's preparing another change as well. Jelassic showed too much of that to Jurakovic. And that change is coming now. It's going to be the end of the night for Elbasan Rashani, who's working his way back to full fitness. We saw flashes of it. It was a very bright start, perhaps less prominent in the second half as Medin Mehmeti comes on. Just his 4th appearance of the season for one of the revelations of last year's title-winning campaign. 5 goals last year in his first ever A-League season. Naboot. Davidson now. Oh. For once he bypassed Juan Mata and he got a little bit of a serve from the Spaniard as well. He was expecting it. Jurakovic with Bajic. Ferreira. Bonatig. Bajic again. Mehmeti and Jurakovic. Just saved there by Kai Trewin. Now over the top, Rawlins. With the header, here's Andreas Kuhn. The attacking throw will be for the home side, City. Bajic spotting a little gap, trying to dive in. Kuhn again, trying to use his body to roll Josh Rawlins. In fact, it's Jelassic. He's got the corner. We're approaching the final 10 minutes.
Well, a chance for the subs, in which category Keegan Jelassic is included, to change the game for either team. Which of the fresh players have got it in them to break this deadlock?
Canamore's ball, the header, fantastic save. Unbelievable reflex save from Jack Duncan on his goal line. Well, it looked an almost certain goal for Melbourne City. And Duncan comes and punches again. The flag's up for offside. What an opportunity with 11 minutes left to play.
Ooh, and he blows out the big ones. They've been really dangerous for their part too, City. It's remarkable work from Jack Duncan.
It's Medin Mehmeti.
And speaking of fresh legs off the bench, looking to change the game. Great work from the youngster. Superb from Jack Duncan.
Well, that's as close as either side have come since Max Caputo hit the crossbar.
Well, they've had 2 or 3 like this, and Victory have found it hard to handle. Esposito beat Mehmeti, angle on the header. Oh, look at Aurelio, we've done it. He thinks he's got the points, or at least the lead. Not through me. Not at the moment, at least, says Jack Duncan.
Baker coming on to replace Kanamori. One of the youngsters emerging from the academy is just 17 years of age. Beckham Baker. Andrew Naboot with Kuhn. Mata's touch is a good one for Genro. Well, it finds its way all the way through to Santos. Inside and then out. Mata again. Mata's cross is not a bad one. Jing Reese is there. Wrestling with Bonatic. Rees hasn't scored since a penalty against Adelaide for the Mariners back in February 2024. Naboot again with Baker. Just couldn't find Andrew Naboot with the return ball. Pereira claiming that one. Back to Patrick Beach.
Well, the tension just grows by the minute. Both teams have laid claim to some great chances. The match has swung from end to end.
When it's this tense, when the pressure is on, it's so often the player that can keep the cool head. Davidson gets the better of Baker, looks forward. Rees, clever little touch for Jelassic, helps it on its way just too far for Rawlins. His cross back in. Bonatig's header. Jordi Valadon on the edge of the area. Rawlins whips the ball in towards the back post, and Antonio not taking any chances at all.
Yeah, it's great attack this time from Victory. City just having their efforts on goal. Now the link between Victory player and Victory player consolidated with real pressure on the City goal.
Those Victory fans trying to suck the ball into the goal in front of them. In it comes. Santos. Valadon. The big switch back to Juan Mata. Lovely control. Denny Jonro. Another player capable of producing something. Santos. The block. Brilliant from Truen, and here goes Andrew Naboot. The former Victory man. Naboot. Sliding past one challenge. Now Mehmeti. Came so close just moments ago. Antonio. Already written some history into the Melbourne derby with his first ever goal in just his second ever A-League appearance. Cohen for Bajic! All the way across the face of goal. Somehow missed Andrew Naboot in the middle.
That's a great run from Aziz. Instinctive little support here from Kewen, chopping it behind his legs. And Bajic's effort goes for a throw-in on the near touchline. But he's got a bit of a sore Achilles, I think, at the moment, Aziz.
Well, something is clearly painful. Jonro for Rees, free kick from Ferreira.
City have emptied their bench. Beckham Baker was the last scheduled sub they could make.
Grimaldi. Matt Grimaldi comes on to replace Santos. Davidson gets it back from Jonro and then gives it away. Jurakovic. Brilliantly done, Kai Truen. Gets it back from Andrew Naboot. Lovely football, City. As they glide forward into attack. Mehmeti. Cohen. A great bit of defending. Esposito just.
Super tackle. And up the other end of the field. Excellent play from Kai Truen. Isn't he getting better and better from a very high base? Right on cue. Up comes the Paramount Plus player index.
Kai Truen leading the way, only just ahead of Jack Duncan.
Both goalkeepers in the top players. Speaks to the action in the game here tonight.
In it comes, back post. Ferreira. He doesn't score many. Victory technical area, happy with the defending done there. Not so the City technical area.
Yeah, good space then for error. Jason Davidson had miscued the flight of the cross.
Antonio does well. Baker helps it on. No boot, just behind the youngster. Yeah, getting right into the nervous time now of this derby. It's excitement and then adrenaline. And then when the game's still in the balance, the nerves get involved as well. Mato helped on, I thought, momentarily towards Jurassic. Bondi with Bajic, who's recovered from that knock on the back of the ankle. Jurakovic asking a lot of Mehmeti, just straightened up, curled towards the keeper in the end. Davidson up the line, it's a good ball for Grimaldi. He looks into the middle, it's come off Ferreira. Another corner for Melbourne Victory.
Plenty of space in behind the fullbacks on both teams, and both City and Victory, more often than not this evening, able to exploit that space. Most recently, just now, Melbourne Victory leads to this corner.
Juan Mata. Will take charge of this corner. The runs come. Esposito arriving late on the scene. Jonro beaten out by Baker. It's Jordi Valadon who goes and gets the ball and immediately looks up to see where Juan Mata is. Davidson. Andreas Kuhn back getting a foot in there. Andy Nabut had more time than he realised there. A great touch again from Mata. Valadon. Esposito. Oh, Rawlins. That touch will just allow him to keep it in play. Jurassic. Back we come. Grimaldi. Bajic does well.
Did very well, read that superbly. Grimaldi thought he'd split the City defence open there. And positioned himself excellently as his Bajic, and then wins the corner. Throw-in rather, in the corner.
In the 90th minute. Melbourne City have twice hit the crossbar. Jack Duncan's made a fantastic save. Victory have worked the City defence for the whole 90 minutes. Patrick Beach has had to make a couple of smart stops himself. And we keep going. Jing Rees just doesn't sit. Kuhn blocked out of it. Mata. Again, Juan Mata's shot. It deflects off Bonatig. It's another corner.
Look at him go, bouncing. 90 minutes played. High-intensity derby football. And Juan Mata is still bouncing off the balls of his feet. Short corner taken.
Grimaldi now. Grimaldi strikes it. Oh, and he's done it. He's beaten Patrick Beach from 25 metres out in the first minute of stoppage time. Something had to give. Mata was involved, but this was all the work of Matt Grimaldi. His first Melbourne Victory goal against the club where he learned his trade. Melbourne City
Well, the Harvey Norman replay shows the short corner variation. Patrick Beach at his near post exposed. But Matt Grimaldi, there is no better way to arrive as a victory player from Western United than by scoring a goal in a derby. A goal which is a brilliant one from outside the box, and which is a goal which is set to be the decider here in the Christmas Derby 2025. What a moment for Matt Grimaldi. What a moment for Melbourne Victory. And their fans amassed behind the goal in which Grimaldi has just scored in great numbers, I will say, have risen as one.
And the noise you can hear now is coming from that northern end of the ground. The Victory fans. Is it going to be back-to-back wins for the first time this season?
And more pointedly, for the remaining minutes, do they drop like they did against Adelaide and invite heart attack time? It's been a great derby. It could have gone either way. It still might, of course. There's still time for this incredibly resolute and tough Melbourne City team. But it's for Victory to lose now.
The decibels, the relief, the release of those Victory fans. But there's some defending to be done now. Pajic with the long throw, helped on. Mehmeti, Baker was there. Back in again. Cleared by Davidson. Antonio has won the throw. Only just, mind you. Andreas Kuhn. Kai Truan. Now Bonneting. Oh, it was telegraphed. It was intercepted. Victory on the charge again. Rawlins. He's won the throw. Huge cheers.
And he didn't have a lot of support up front. It's taken Jim Reese a long time to get forward. Maybe Victory had thought the intercept will do. Just take the ball as far as you can, and we'll keep the numbers back at home. The throw-in is as good an outcome as you can get, other than a goal itself, you'd suggest at the moment. Another one to come. Time running out for Melbourne City. 3 Christmas points. Just a few moments away from Melbourne Victory.
Matt Grimaldi had never won in 4 matches with Western United against the club that he played for as a junior. He might do it this evening as a goal scorer for Melbourne Victory. Ferreira. Last chance for City. At home, referee with a look at the watch. How much time left? Naboot, beaten by Davidson. Jonro clears. And that's it. Victory in the derby. Melbourne Victory in the derby. Juan Mata. Again, brilliant. But this was a team effort from a Melbourne Victory side. We asked the question, have they turned the corner? Well, they have this evening. It was brave, courageous against a very good City side that had their chances. They dug deep. They left it late in front of Australian footballing royalty. And it's Matt Grimaldi, one of the rising stars, in a story all its own, who has got his first goal in Victory colours. Arthur Dillis is a happy man. Jack Duncan's save from Mehmeti at 0-0. Max Caputo off the crossbar. So many moments this game could have turned, could have been decided. And there's the youngster that stood up in the end with his former coach at Western United, Andrew Durante. What a season for Matt Grimaldi. Just a couple of months ago, he didn't even know if he had a club, if he'd be playing this season when Western United went into hibernation. Now he's the toast of Melbourne. It's finished here at AAMI Park. Melbourne City 0, Melbourne victory 1.